We apologize for the audio issues that have been coming forward. If you can or you can't hear me, we apologize. BTS coming through, Nick. That's going to be at forums.paladins.com if they want to download that and get playing.
That's right. And I think it's also actually hooked up on Steam as well. So if you do have Paladins through Steam, you can go ahead and get it through that way. It's been a lot of fun, and Nara's been crazy, crazy fun to play. She's so tanky, and she doesn't use a shield, so it's like a cool new way of being tanky. Ruckus is the only one that was kind of messing with that damage mitigation before her.
That's right. So, of course, heading into this weekend, we want to get into the matches as soon as possible. Let's let you know what's going on, who's going to be playing up first. Of course, in this bracket, we've got Wolves Esports, we've got D69, we've got Burrito, and we've got Interlopers. Your first game of the day should look like this. Uh-oh, nice little graphic here. We're in the background. Oh, now we're fading out. D69 versus Burrito will be match 1. Match 2, Interlopers versus Wolves Esports. And then we'll go back on the third match with D69 versus Interlopers there. And then finally, Burrito will play Wolves.
And that's a hell of a match to start with. District 69 versus Burrito, the finalists from the HRX Invitational. The big heavyweights, the match that everybody wants to see, everybody knows and loves. Theo's on vacation, so this isn't 10 out of 10 just yet. You know, at HRX, Bugzy wasn't there, right? Now we're missing Theo. Soon we're going to get this match. We're going to get this, both teams, all with the starting 5, the All-Stars. We're going to get it for you soon.
And 2 of their subs and players who are used to be on that team are now on Interlopers, so things have gone even crazier in this whole Paladins Esports debacle. But we're soon to be getting into the champion draft, the map selection for the first game, Nick. Breaking down D69 and Burrito. They've had a lot of history. You and I had the fortunate opportunity to cast them in ESL this week. D69 getting the better of Burrito there.
Yeah, they did. Like I mentioned, Theo's not back, so I think that it puts their dynamic in a little bit of a weird spot, particularly because their sub-commander, he doesn't play tanks traditionally. He's more known for his Androxus, his DPS play, and I feel that's kind of maybe throwing them in a little bit of a weird spot right now. But the bans, they're going to be Stone Keep for Burrito and Timbermill for District 69. I actually like the Stone Keep ban. Because I feel District 69 are just super strong on it. Yeah. Especially when Bugzy gets Drogo.
Yeah,
it's a nightmare.
We've got some nightmare type footage of Bugzy having like a 30-32 streak on Stone Keep and just being unstoppable. So Burrito say, not today. We will take anything but that. And in fact, Frozen Guard, kind of the stereotypical first pick map that we've seen a lot of these teams go for.
You're right, yeah.
It's weird.
It is getting to that point. Not something that we're used to seeing. Pre-season 1, the map picks were more the Jaguar Falls, the Serpent Beach, the Frog Isles, but Frozen Guard has definitely been coming into favor here for the first map pick, as well as Ying coming into favor for her first pick in the draft.
Well, it's no surprise Ying's been a strong pick, and she did just receive some nerfs in this current patch evaluation with the balance updates, but that's not in effect yet. Ying still very strong, still very powerful, lifelike, basically increasing her healing by 2 times. D69 follow up with a first pick Torvald and a Grok. So Nick, having a lot of priority over the granddaddy here.
The Grok, yeah, the Grok doesn't surprise me as much. Grok's starting to creep up just under Ying, just in that second round of the draft. He's normally getting snagged up, but the Torvald does surprise me a little bit. That is something that hasn't been in favor in Europe overall, but District 69 in particular, eLvenpath has been playing this a lot and finding great success with it.
Makoa and Barrick locked up for Burrito Esports. It's D69's chance to find an answer in response to what seems like a very tanky, deployable nightmare type lineup for Burrito. D69 offer to then go with some damage on Drogos, be able to clear the area quickly. We've seen Combustible kind of come into its own as a legendary choice. The extra damage and knockback on the Fire Spit, and now Ruckus here to add some extra tank protection.
Cassie, actually, I think this may be the first time we've seen Cassie
in a while.
Since in a while. I don't want to say since the legendary, but production's telling me that it is the first time we've seen her since the legendaries come in. It's going to be very interesting. I would like to see her go for big game, actually.
Yeah, big
against this double tank.
Well, we actually saw Leminate run big game very, very effectively in ESL. In these games, he was hitting for 1,500 to sometimes 2,300 on a single shot. That's the legendary that gives you the disengage ability to hit 30% of your target's max health if you hit them in the air. But Maldamba's going to follow things up for D69. They've got a lot of healing, a lot of tankiness on both sides. And we'll see as we get into game 1 here, the Masters Qualifiers. It comes down to this. Teams are trying to get these wins early. Laizy will be on Bomb King running Accelerant. Leminate on. Cassie running big game as well. Pluck for Makoa, taking the Dredge Anchor talent. Fortify for Barrett, getting the extra shield health, and lifelike for Ying, standard pick for
District 69 will have Ripened Gourd for gerrah's Maldamba. Shipa's Grok going to be running the Maelstrom. Field Study for eLvenpath's Torvald. Bugzy's Drogoz will be running with the Fire Spit just to supplement that damage. And Aerial Assault, so the mobility legendary coming out for PERDO. And you can see the even splits between the Wreckers and the Cauterize here. And Leminate on this Cassie is the big one for me, because not only can he shred the tanks effectively, but for me, he's the best one to take down Bugzy's Drogoz right now.
Absolutely.
You know, Cassie does have the quicker projectile, so it's not as difficult. She's not quite that hit scan, but she's going to be the one to do it.
And with Grok coming in on the Maelstrom, it's so easy for him to use those Ying illusions and get the damage onto his teammates. Bird already finds first blood onto PERDO, though, as Leminate is in the back side. Over on the right, trying to find mid-air shots on the Dragon. Hits one, and his disengage is up. This could be big damage onto somebody. He wants to find Drogoz. He does with the blast shot. Rolls away. Leminate playing well so far. 2-streak for him. And Burrito in control, 48% on the point.
Has to be careful. Doesn't have the Chronos online just yet, so those rolls are a little bit staggered. Even if he does hit his incitement shot, his first shot after rolling, 68% and climbing on the point for Burrito. Nice hook out. Gonna put a lot of damage into Ruckus. He's gonna stay alive for the time being, though. Gets the emitter shield up. Leminate trying to take these tanks down, has a good angle on him to do so.
Wow, incredible. Just that they stayed alive there. Ruckus still in this fight thanks to eLvenpath coming over on the Torvald, keeping him alive with the protection. A lot of damage here. We've stayed on Leminate's perspective, and he's just been in this fight constantly, Nick. No one's been able to deal with him, and that's the big key. Burrito have this damage dealer that has been not stopped, and D69, I think, have to have an answer for him if they're to finish this point and win it.
96% for Burrito. Back in control of it, though. District 69. Beautiful shock pulse play coming out from Shipa. He's going to pop the Tempest just to get his teammates healed up, and that's basically how I've been using it as well. The Tempest on Grok. He's vulnerable while I do it. Bird finding a nice pick on the eLvenpath. Overtime, though, is take Burrito. Find the angle. Laizy trying to take out Shipa, and he will.
Great play by Laizy. Prioritizes the healing totem, then goes for the healer himself. Grok gets taken down. Burrito finished this one up. 1-0 goes the score to start things off over D69. The European Juggernauts are back in a big way, and it's up to D69 now to stall this push as much as possible. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. It's their job to get some momentum in this fight.
Yeah, this is a really good look for Burrito as well, because personally I feel District 69's comp falls off a little bit harder towards the late game, because Ruckus, you know, he's very all in. He relies a lot on gerrah, just pocket healing him and keeping him alive, just like eLvenpath is going to rely on that shield from Torvald. But once the Wreckers and the Cauterize is online, those tanks are going to fall off a little bit harder, I think, than Makoa and Barrick.
One of the things we don't even mention a lot is the field study ultimate with Torvald. The fact that he's able to go into the protection and give the 40% damage boost, but not only that, give that damage boost to a Ruckus, a free-firing Ruckus, means that he's not only saving his life, he's giving him so much more damage and making it such a big threat. Laizy in the background, though, trying to go for the King Bomb. He needs to find one. He'll actually pick up Shipa. No healing now. Maldamba the only one alive, but he's by himself, and Laizy just pressuring him out of this. It's all Burrito right now.
Gerrah gonna just send back behind the wall here, wants to stay safe, doesn't want to get staggered from the rest of his team. 1 minute and 13 remaining on the clock for Burrito to find their push. Long-range bombs coming out, poking the Ruckus lower and lower. We got the dome shield here from Bonker's Barrack to try and force this one in. We'll see when he likes to pop. He's posturing like he wants to.
Goes into it early there. There's the Torvald Hyper Beam. It's still going to work despite the shield there. So almost a dome shield wasted in essence, but still gets hit the pressure from Torvald in response by eLvenpath. So in many ways, they've traded 2 key ultimates, and now they've still got the Ancient Rage on their side. Theo, actually Bird misses the hook, but tries to go back in. He knows he's got the Ancient Rage. He's got a great bait here. If they can pick up 1 kill and then go into it, this could be huge. 30 seconds left. The payload is imminent, almost about to be pushed, but they still haven't found the answer.
Does Bird pop the Ancient Rage here? It's such a big cooldown, and he's relatively all alone. He's gonna go into it. He doesn't want to go down just yet.
Nice hook there coming in on the Maldamba. Swing for swing for swing. Trying to finish off anyone on D69, but the healing is too much. They're too compact. They look like they're going to stabilize here, especially with that ultimate wasted and Bugzy free firing in the back line. It is so strong for D69 here to show what they're worth, and Burrito know that despite winning the objective, they've still got their work to do in this set.
Cute long-range fire spit from Bugzy there. Holds on to the Dragon Punch as well. Doesn't pop that into the Ancient Rage. Hexafire is ready to go as well. And gerrah almost got his ultimate charged up again. He is going into the deft hands I'd like to take a look at gerrah's loadout if we could, to see if he is running any of the reload speed card to try and supplement that. But he's doing a great job of getting his ultimate charged up. Doesn't look like he is, just going for a little bit more consistent snake stuns.
Well, Ritual Magic too, not something we always see. Heal for 45 health per second while healing an ally with Mending Spirits. Very, I guess, symbiotic with Spirits Chosen, which is his legendary that allows him to, while he's healing a target with Mending Spirits, if he heals them again, get an extra 300 burst heal. So not only is he burst healing them, he's kind of consistently healing himself there, giving him some more sustain in the fight.
It starts to add up, you know, over the course of a long fight. Throwing the Riven Gourd, and they're running that 40% slow on the gourd there. 21% already for Burrito. They sneak their way in there immediately, and a lot of times we see this come back to haunt teams when they give up these small little chip damage throughout the fight. Dragon Punch is charged. Will slay Bonkar. Bugzy is going to be able to get out safely. Nice fire spit out the door. Another one. So much damage coming through from District 69. A sweeping victory in this first team fight.
Patience, timing. Bugzy comes in at the perfect moment without any stress. We've seen this camera angle before where it just feels like they're free fire. We've pointed out victors who have that opportunity on Burrito in the back line when they're playing against a lesser opponent. D69 here had the better end of that trade by a mile. Bugzy's able to go into a lineup that's meant to stay clumped up on the point and just use those fire spits, use those rockets, and do damage. It's 99%. There's no chance for Burrito to get back on. Right now, PERDO is free firing, and Bugzy picks up another one. Shipa takes down Leminate, and it is all D69. They're in the lead, 2-1 here.
Laizy has nowhere to go. He's pincered by PERDO, wisely moved around to shut off the retreat of any remaining members of Burrito. 2 minutes remaining, and just a beautiful zone. PERDO dismounting the rest of Burrito as they were coming back off of their spawn was something that really helped them put Burrito in that awkward situation. You saw Bonkar just kind of had to throw himself on the point, was dead before he even entered the room. It's those types of plays, those types of strong forward zones that separate the veteran teams from the noobs.
There's the Maelstrom coming out from Grok, a little preemptive there, trying to keep his teammates alive and healthy. Here's a Hexafire as well. Leminate takes down Bugzy though, and that is a huge piece of damage on the side of D69. We've still got an ultimate for Cassie available, but that's not going to make the difference in this fight. It's only a reveal. It will give her CC immunity, and with Torvald's ultimate, that could be the answer to avoid getting hyper beamed off the map if she ends up being the last defender. But Torvald goes down. Laizy picks up eLvenpath. PERDO still alive and firing, but Laizy here to answer the call for Burrito, and he's going to go and help them stabilize here with 1 minute and 14 seconds now for the push.
This character so much stopping power. Nice long range shot onto Bugzy. Won't do much. Just poke him out a little bit. Send a message. Minute remaining here. Poppy bombs away. Bomb King, a character just with immense stopping power. Once he gets into a rhythm, into the backline, we see a lot of guys starting to play him more almost aggressive, right? 2,700 health, one of the harder hitting characters in the game. He has, you know, the tools to get in the backline and get in that rhythm and slaughter everyone. See how much damage he's able to pump out. Leminate helping with that kill from range, but still such a lethal character and a fan favorite at that.
And so good with Wreckers as well, dealing with the Torvald in particular, who has that personal shield, and so does Ruckus. Very stationary targets who aren't using those shields to help them, their teammates, but more so to help themselves. And when you talk about the protection, he gets rid of that very, very quickly, and without that, there is no extra damage coming along to these teams. He's focusing the healing totem, but now he's caught up in the gourd. Laizy's in a bad spot. He's got to try and run, but it looks like he is trapped, and that will be the kill. This might be what they need. Laizy a little bit over aggressive here. D69 with a chance to push this in.
It's an important overextension here. 6 seconds of Laizy will be up right as the overtime comes through with the Dragon Punch. He's sending somebody back to spawn. Bird just gets inside of the door. Bugzy looking for it. Bugzy narrowly connects, but Bonkar is able to trade out.
Maelstrom gets popped, but cannot get the value either. PERDO now by himself with Maldamba. It's not going to be able to do it. Bird swings, and it's a home run. Takes down 2 with the help of Leminate and Laizy, and defend this one successfully.
King Bomb still on the board. Illusory Rift from SunCommander as well. And the only ultimate for District 69 is going to be gerrah's Dread Serpent. And you see these quad master ridings coming out from Burrito. They want to get on the point first. They want to help their Barrett get set up. And this is what was leading to that little 21% point advantage they had in the previous round. And now it didn't help them out last round. But that sort of little chip damage, every second counts on the Pele. It makes the difference between just capturing the point outright or getting into a big overtime mess. And you never want to have, you want to take these points as clean as possible especially when you're up against veteran teams like District 69, who, albeit, have responded with 3 master ridings of their own, just trying to keep the playing field level.
Exactly. You see your enemies do one thing, and you know you've got to go and respond with it. May not be your optimal choice, but for the game, they force you to do it. The Shell Shield popped by Makoa. Eliminate in the backside. 6 streak for him. And now, at the master riding, he's gotten himself into a good position to start. The Wrecker 3 is helping to finish off the Torvald and the Ruckus as well. They can't survive long, but neither can he. So he draws back to safety. 36% for Burrito. The Dread Serpent comes out. It's almost looking for a kill. No kills found yet, Nick, in this fight.
In this whole round, it feels like forever, Bonkar. In a rough spot, eLvenpath is as well, very overextended, but he's going to be able to get the recharge off. Bird actually trades out positively with bugzy in the backline. Leminate has a great angle onto this District 69 backline. It's just about finding that confirmed kill. He takes his time. He wants to be patient. Nobody really wanting to step out of line just yet.
D69 doing such a good job of keeping their teammates alive, but I feel like the wall is crumbling here. There's 1, there's 2, 1 more for Leminate, if he can get it. Oh, PERDO with a great response. Bugzy actually gets the kill there, and Combustible, this is where it's going to prove valuable. Record 3s will make sure the Makoa Shell Shield is down as soon as possible, but it doesn't matter because the prize has already been won. 3-2 for Burrito Esports.
That's where that chip damage comes into play. You see how, albeit that was one of the slowest played point fights I think I've ever seen, but that small amount of chip damage, 30%, 40% where Burrito was at, and then they were able to eke out that win in the team fight later down the line. That's all they need. They just needed that one team fight victory as a result of all that chip damage they had gotten on the point capture throughout.
Also, Shipa getting caught here twice. He does not have the Ghost Walk up, but eLvenpath with protection able to help him out, and it ends up being a bait Combustible doing a lot of damage. The Record 3's not doing the job of killing Bird yet, but there's the Combustible. There's the Fire Spit. He's going to get 1 more. This could be damage for Leminate. Oh, but the disengage knocks him back, and he's got somebody on his tail. Bonkar. It's going to finish him off with Barrick's brand new shotgun, which has admittedly been a very big introduction for him.
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining here.
Oh.
Gerrah gets hooked out and killed before he can return back. You see Laizy in the backline playing this Bomb King like a flanker, and that's just frankly the style we've seen people start to go with. Nice barricade to shut eLvenpath off from the rest of his team. He will be able to escape off the back of his recharge. 1 minute and 16 remaining here, and Burrito are already very close to conversion.
Lots of damage going on to Bonkar, but he will survive for now. No kills there. Grumpy Bomb. Look at his zone. King Bomb available. Laizy might try to poppy in. He sees them set up. This could be the poppy. There's the ult. Wants to get 1. Wants to get 2. He's going to miss out on 2, but he's going to get 1 at least, and that's eLvenpath, so no more protection shields on the side of D69. But there's a Dread Serpent in response. Laizy's still alive and looking for Grok, but he can't find him. They've committed a lot, Burrito. They want to push this in and win the game here. It looks like they could. Forcing bugzy down, but that will be the end. Burrito claim victory over D69 and find themselves a win here.
Great team fight there from Laizy. We followed him. He basically was able to stay alive start to finish despite being, I can't say overextended because he didn't die. He was just very deep in the team fight. Stayed alive, found I think 2 or 3 eliminations, found a kill with his King Bomb, found Shipa thereafter. And just at the last second, I don't know if it was as a result of the elimination onto bugzy or not that Burrito were able to find the win, but they were very closely coalesced there. 20 eliminations for the King and for Bird. Topped by only Leminate. 103k damage on this Cassie. Very close to Bugzy's Drogos and Shipa's Grok, which is a very tall task.
Hey, very, very impressive stuff. They're still getting the value they want from Grok, picking up Maelstrom as legendary. A lot of control in the fights, a ton of damage. He's been breaking 100,000 damage very, very consistently here as a support, which is, what this legendary does. But again, the big story for me, not being able to kill Ying. SunCommander, only 1 death. By and large, the difference variable here in all of these teams that this man could only die once, and with 166,000 healing, he was a serious reason that they were able to continue pushing like they did there.
And just good Yings being so hard to bring down. It's something that you highlight very often, and Dimensional Link is it's kind of a tough ability to wrap your head around at the start of it. But once you get mastery of it, you just see how difficult it is to bring these Ying players down, especially if they go into loadout cards to supplement the duration in which they're able to just blink around the fight. And you have to make that decision. Like, you want to kill the Ying, obviously, but if she's just blinking around, she's just wasting your time for 3 seconds. The rest of Burrito's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And that's the tough decision you have to make.
And that's why they won those poke battles. I mean, the fact that they committed resources to killing the Ying and then maybe took a little too much damage. Were able to get saved by eLvenpath with the protection, but that was more of a last-ditch effort to try and keep everyone alive. They really were just slowly but surely crumbling as as a result of losing a big chunk of health, committing resources, trying to kill the healer, trying to get the sustain down, but just couldn't do it.
And flankers aren't particularly popular right now amongst these top teams. So it makes it that much more difficult. It makes the supports that much stronger when they don't have any flank pressure on them. There's no one that can really get in the back line and mix it up unless, you see Laizy take a Bomb King into the back line and just start swinging and try and take as many people down with them as possible. But
that's right.
That's game number 1. Game number 2 will be on Serpent Beach.
Serpent Beach, very kind of standard map. All of these teams find value in Serpent Beach when not really a lot of idealized moments of taking advantage of another team. It's really just like, well, we can win a team fight, and we also have the opportunity to come back and contest if we lost the first part of this. Whereas Ice Mines, you lose that first part, the contest is almost impossible because of the limited routes to get back to it.
If you're just picturing the spectrum of maps, you got stuff like Jaguar Falls in terms of like super closed in, Frog Isle, easy to push short payload lengths, and then at the other end of the spectrum you got your Timber Mills, you got your Ice Mines, things that are wide open, extremely long payload pushes. Serpent Beach is pretty much dead center in the middle. It's kind of got everything. It's got verticality to it. It's got line of sight breaks. It's got all kinds of good stuff. I'd say a medium length payload push. It's not impossible to do. But it's not super easy. The momentum based compositions are kind of help to tilt it that way towards the Frog Isle heavily momentum. We saw Astral Authority just steamroll this map in what felt like less than 8 minutes with a a very carefully calculated composition that is heavily based on momentum.
Yeah, we saw so many, we've seen so many top plays coming here, and we've seen so many opportunities for great plays and great players to make a name on Serpent Beach because it is no map advantage. It is a lot of times the skill advantage that is the difference maker. We're going to come back after just a second. We've got to go to a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 2 coming up here on Serpent Beach. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Masters Qualifiers. And this time, I got good news for you. We're back ready to go into game number 2. My name is Rene. This is Hi-Rez, Pretty Hair.
That's right. We went out. We showed that server who's boss.
We told that server.
Won't be messing with you ever again.
Yeah, ain't coming back. All right, I have no promises on that. But what I do know is we have game 2 coming up for you, and it's going to be exciting. Let's recap game 1, though, Nick. Frozen Guard went the way of Burrito.
Yep, Frozen Guard 4-2 for Burrito. Finding that capture and the conversion in the last round, just a little bit of momentum, just a slight window. Beautiful team fight from both teams. I expect this to go the distance. These are best of 3s, guys. These won't be best of 5s like you're used to from the open brackets. We got 4 sets today. We got to fit them all in.
So it's going to be Serpent Beach as game 2. We talked about this before we left off in the broadcast earlier, and it's that Serpent Beach is kind of that middle, kind of average map where you're not too far, you're not too close. It's got open space, but just enough tightness to make sure there are a lot of engagements, and teams have to be wary about getting caught in a bad position. Going into this map, it is definitely going to be D69's onus to try and get themselves back in this game. And of course, the champion draft will be coming up right now. We'll see what D69 can do to mix things up and give them a chance at tying up the series.
They will have first pick here. I expect them to take Ying. It's been highly prioritized throughout. The nerfs for her have not come through just yet. Those will be in the next patch. So she's still going to be that top priority, and flanks are starting to fall more and more out of favor. And obviously that being the class designed to get in the back line, take her out, it makes the perfect storm, right? She's really strong right now in combination with flanks really kind of being out of favor right now, so there's no one to test her, to contest.
Yeah, and especially in this meta, right? It's not necessarily, just width of North America as well. There are still some flankers being played. And you can see D69 play PERDO, play Androxus quite often, but still you see a lot of damage dealers and tanks and healers prioritized more than the flank class. Right now, Burrito Esports follow up Barrick and Torvald. So again, Torvald coming in the top 2 spot, top 3 draft overall. And then Makoa and Grok, something that Shipa has really loved and eLvenpath has loved in the past.
Yeah, Barrick highly prioritized as well. Bonkar's been playing that.
He's
Burrito.
good right now.
He is, yeah. Drogo's still on the table. I would be surprised if Burrito didn't take the Drogos here. They could take the Maldamba, just take it later. The Androxus is a good look. The Maldamba, I want to talk to them today. Be like, why are we taking Maldamba, not last? Anything but last. District 69 already have 2 healers. Maybe they just don't want the situation to come up where they get Maldamba and another frontliner.
The question is, maybe they're looking at saying we want to flex pick that last role, and we don't want to let them know so they can counterpick into it. For instance, if they take like the Ruckus or something, I mean, granted, Victor and Drogo still very good counters to a stationary Ruckus, but maybe they want to just say, hey, we want to make sure that you're not countering us with your last two, and we can really counter you. So we go with something obvious that you already know we're going to take. Cassie gets swallowed up by Burrito Esports, and that is Leminate's bread and butter right now. He's loving big game. He's killing the game with it, and they didn't have an answer for him last time on Frozen Guard.
Yeah, they're going to have double frontliner here, as well as some flank pressure this time, and the Victor picked into an Androxus, so we'll see if Burrito able to use that character, that flanker, to punish out some of the backline characters from District 69. We'll go ahead and bring up the tab scoreboard here so we can take a look at some of these legendaries here. Gerrah most likely running that lifelike for her Ying Gunnery. Iron Sight build for PERDO's Victor Pluck for eLvenpath's Makoa. Fusillade, the direct impact damage for bugzy's Drogos, and Maelstrom, of course, for Shipa's Grok.
Bonkar looks like he's running Darkstalker, giving him those 3 separate charges for Nether Step. Fortify for Barrack. Extra health to the shield. Big game for Leminate, trying to hit those big targets on the other side. Field Study for Torvald. 40% more damage on those shields, and Spirits chosen by Maldamba. He's going to make sure he heals up a little bit more, a little more sustain. And going into this fight, he is going to need it. There's a lot of damage on the side of D69. PERDO on the Victor, bugzy on that Drogos, and man, this is definitely a lot of pressure. They go with 3 Wreckers and 2 Cauterizes to start.
Yep, the Torvald's going to be struggling to stay alive. Laizy's going to need all 4,000 of that additional health. Path gets dismounted pretty early. Nice barricade on the low ground from Laizy, trying to get set up and creep their way into a favorable high ground position.
eLvenpath already drops to the bottom, says not worth it. He gets a good pick, and he's got the Pluck, so the bonus damage will be there. Silence from Torvald means he'll avoid a few shots, but the damage is real. eLvenpath gets the help of his teammates to finish one off. There's a nice hook as well. eLvenpath with the double kill here, even though he was so low, and now Gerrah keeping him nice and healthy on the Ying. This is going all D69's way. 42% so far on the capture objective.
And even with their cauterizes, that's just it. Even that small little window after the anchor, during the anchor, where eLvenpath is not being, under pressure, he gets healed up so much from Ying when the cauterizes aren't online just yet. Barely gets that shell shield up, but bonkar able to get under the shell and take him out.
That's a very good point too. He's just able to get the use of Gerrah, be able to just buy enough time for his teammates to come in clutch. That's the role here that D69 play together. When they are firing on all cylinders, they are a threat to be wary of. It seems like they've got the first capture objective, in fact they do, of the day. 2 minutes now for them to push it in, and a little bit of change. D69 doing well. This Victor not really getting pressured by the Androxus, which is not what you would expect, especially with a Torvald able to bubble him up and give him the opportunity.
Bonkar needs to be careful, finding his angles so carefully. That's sort of why flankers have fallen out of the meta recently, is because there is very little margin for error on these squishier flankers. They do have the mobility, but just one step out of line, and they will be punished by these top-tier teams. Just trying to find the angle now is PERDO on the 5 streak, dumping headshots into Laizy. A lot of damage on the dwarf. You'll see a cursed arm on the backside. Bonkar's already found 2.
That's good damage, but look at that, already almost dead, and there's the last kill. Laizy with the blunderbuss from Barrack finds the kill onto PERDO, and Bonkar gets 2 onto the 2 healers for D69. Fantastic play there coming out from Bonkar and the side of Burrito, and they're able to stabilize now. 1:30 on the clock. 1-0 for D69. They want to take advantage of this. 2-0 leads, they mean a lot in Paladins, and definitely takes the pressure off of them going into the next round.
Not really moving out too far to zone. eLvenpath able to kind of abuse this, coming back in immediately. Favorable positioning for all of his teammates. Find the pick on the Bonkar, who I thought would be out forward zoning, dismounting people, but they just let District 69 ride straight back up to the payload.
eLvenpath guarding the payload. Pops the shell shield. He's going to have to wait for his protection to be on cooldown. Still can get out of dodge with the shell spin, but he decides to hook this target in, and look at the bonus damage. Look at the Wrecker 2 paying off under the Torvald. This is going to be it. He's got 3 now on him. eLvenpath goes down. Here's bugzy, though, in the back line. Just decides to back up a little bit. The pressure's real from Burrito.
Beautiful response there from the rest of Burrito to keep Birds safe. They all came to his aid, and eLvenpath ends up being the one to go down, even though he was the one pushing forward onto Bird. 2 picks for 1. Burrito holding this defense strong. Only 30 seconds remaining. Another staggered pick onto Shipa. It's going to make it more and more difficult the more picks District 69 give up. Almost every ultimate available for them, however. Burrito not having the dome shield, and they do not have the accursed arm, so have another 15 seconds to get those charged back up for any retake potential in the end of this round. They're going to want as many as they can going into the next round.
I'm not surprised that a successful defense and a very good stabilization from Burrito comes alongside with a 6 streak for Leminate and a 5 streak for bonkar. They are going to be critical to this defense, and in fact, so critical that they are just going to just wade off any discussion about trying to go and attack that payload. They decide to leave it be. 1-1 goes to score, and now we start round 2 fresh, both teams tied up.
I think that was pretty wise, considering District 69 already have the ultimate advantage. They already have the credit advantage. They don't want to, you know, let Burrito get their ultimates, you know, chipped back up. They don't want to give them any more credits than they have to. That payload is still probably like a team fight and a half away from getting converted anyway. So I think that's a very disciplined call. That's a tough one to make, where you just say, you know what, guys, just let it go.
Yeah.
We're ahead in credits right now. Let's take all of our ultimates. Let's go into the next round, and let's just take the fight again like we did.
Well, they want to be patient. They've played against these guys so long, and part of having that history means that you are that much more determined not to lose, so you're that much more aware of the moments that could be dangerous in the past that you have lost. bugzy now goes in, but so does Aatroxus. He narrowly avoids it and actually ends up picking Laizy, who rocket boots into the danger. What a direct shot. There's the follow-up. Mid-air fire spit. Great shot by bugzy, but he's not going to find the kill. He will, however, find the pressure, and that's all D69 need right now. Again, another fire spit narrowly avoided by bonkar's nether steps. Darkstalker keeping him very healthy, very alive, and giving Burrito still a chance to come back into this.
Nice fire spit on the high ground. Will connect onto 2. Another long-range fire spit. Doesn't connect on anyone. Laizy pushing forward into a dangerous situation, it seems. Gets the Torvald protection from Bird, but no answer from Burrito thus far in this team fight. 3 for 4.
These 1275 hits, Nick, are just screaming to me. I mean, the fact that bugzy's able to land those off of eLvenpath setup, it's just when you see D69 get going in this way, they're unbeatable. You cannot contest against this. They've got to stop the free-firing bugzy. Great hook there by eLvenpath to seal the deal. That will be a unfortunate Barrack experience, but a very fortunate D69 capture yet again. And a great hook off the disengage. He will not die thanks to big game, and in fact, he will set one more up for bugzy to finish the kill.
Long range hook there, and you see eLvenpath actually going into the resilience. This is going to do a couple of good things for him. It'll actually make big game very difficult for Leminate to hit. The knockback is going to be brought lower and lower. The hyper beams and the dread serpents here. Great pickup. eLvenpath has been kind of one of those early adopters in Europe of resilience.
I love it, you know, and I love the ability to just recognize a team composition and know how to counter it. Sometimes the shielding for Wrecker can be very, very important. Sometimes you look at Torvald and say, okay, that's cool, but what is going to clutch this out for me? What's going to make the difference in these team fights, in these pushes? Ideally, that hyper beam picked up for Torvald to just clear out anybody from the objective. eLvenpath is the tank, knows he needs to stay there, and so knows that resilience, that's going to be the one thing he has to avoid, is that huge hyper beam knocking him off the map and getting rid of that maybe 10k, 16k HP he might have stored up with an Ancient Rage ultimate available. Minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. Nick, kind of looking to group up here on the left side. Something's about to happen.
Yeah, Dome Shield comes out, though, to protect bonkar from any aggression. eLvenpath falling lower and lower, forced to fall out. District 69 have already pushed the payload about to where they did in the previous round, but they have much more time this time around to try and punch it through. Laizy's going to go down first. bonkar tries to answer back with an accursed arm, but gets nothing for it.
Great stuff there by bonkar, though. It's 3 in a row onto gerrah, and that is huge. It's another 2 onto PERDO, and now the protection. He's dashing through. 837 headshot, and now the reversal is probably going to get some damage. Will not, but Torvald will shield him up as well. Good damage, though, from bugzy, and bugzy takes him down, although Laizy finds bugzy in the process. But meanwhile, eLvenpath and Shipa are still alive. This is a very dangerous escort, especially if they can pick up Laizy here on the Barrack. Can they get him? He's just dodging and diving, but that hook is going to do so much for them. The push is successful. Wow, Croc and Makoa, eLvenpath and Shipa clutch it out.
No answer to the momentum off the back there. Laizy seeming like he's a little bit disjointed from the rest of his team, almost caught out in a couple of situations there. He looks like it sucks that he is the one, but because Barrack is like, we don't traditionally treat him as the the last stand guy who's just going to throw himself on and have something go right for him. He is a character that likes to get set up, and when the momentum is not on his side, Barrack just looks like he's struggling right now. bonkar, though, does have the Cauterize 3 online. Laizy getting Cauterize 2 online, as well as Leminate. Hopefully, this is where Burrito can start to turn things around and shut down gerrah's healing.
And this is eLvenpath making a huge difference here. We call out a lot of the damage dealers. You know, today, it's definitely been the tank, the front line here for D69 that's made the difference. Those clutch hooks just to finish off the barrack, and then to put him on a plate here for the rest of the team. The shell shield will be helpful. There's the Dread Serpent, though, and it's not going to mean damage enough to finish off eLvenpath, but it's going to give him the amount of time he needs to find one more hook onto Torvald. gerrah still alive. The clone's still here in eLvenpath. He's looking for barrack. He gets rid of the totem first, pulls the dwarf back into danger. One more shot from the cannon could do it, but a Dragon Punch will seal the deal instead. 27% for D69, and they are in firm control of this game.
11 streak. eLvenpath has been all over Burrito. I haven't seen him really miss a hook, and he's hitting some seriously long-range ones as well. Really not afraid to go for it. There's finally a missed one. He does have the shell shield available to him, and he will just retreat to the safety of his team. 66% on the point, but Burrito starting to look like they're eking their way back into control at this point.
3 miss hooks in a row, Nick. It's the curse of the caster, the commentator, man. I mean, he wasn't missing any, and now finds himself at a bit disadvantage here, but finally gets back onto the point, and the second he hits one more, the second things start going the way of D69. The turret, just a perfect setup for Shipa, who's running mercilessly at Laizy and trying to find even more damage. This Grok is not satisfied with 100K. He's only satisfied with a victory, and that one goes straight to D69.
I mean, there was just flawless positioning from District. In that last team fight, you saw Shipa pushing the enemies on the high ground back with the shock pulse, and then they got knocked off the high ground with a fire spit, so they weren't safe up there. And then eLvenpath was waiting for them. Once they retreated off the high ground, there was just nowhere to go, nowhere to hide for Burrito, and a momentous swing in favor of District 69.
Well, I'm not. If I become an engineer at another point in my career, I am not getting a pet turtle, because that turtle just bullied that engineer in that game. Laizy could not find any respite against eLvenpath's hooks, and in fact, it almost felt like eLvenpath was seeking out Laizy. Laizy with 9 deaths in that game, more so than any other player, and far beyond even his own team, who the highest next to that was Bird on the Torvald. He would think would be a very, very easy target for Victor and bugzy, only with 6 deaths. So eLvenpath knew the key to that strategy was making sure barrack had a bad game. It ended up working out for them, and D69 really sweep this up.
It was difficult for any flank pressure to come out on that backline as well. 2 great targets. You know, bonkar kind of being the answer to Drogos, and Droxus is widely considered one of the better counters to Drogos, but he's also got to be able to take out the Ying. He's also got to be able to take out PERDO. There was just too much for him to do in that backline. As a result, Laizy finds himself dead 9 times, and that's he kind of has to, right? He has to go in, he has to try and set up, and he has to rely on his team to be there for him.
I mean, it's weird. Look at the eliminations. You have 7 and 17 right there for Leminate and bonkar. In fact, Leminate gets almost 15,000 more damage than bonkar. And you have to say, Leminate was really, I think, one of the keystones as well for their team in being successful. bonkar seems to have done his job, but it just wasn't working for them.
Yeah, it's a lot of poke damage coming out from Cassie, right? Where she's going to be able to hit long-range shots that do a lot of damage, and Ying's going to heal them straight up. Whereas you look at bonkar, bonkar's got solo kills. He's got 4 of them to Leminate's 0. Yeah. So he's the guy that's trying to drive those poke targets home.
Yeah. Yeah, Cassie just so strong with no fall off. She's a projectile champion, and that means she can just shoot, and that arrow will hit as hard as it does right in front of your face and from the entire distance of the map. Now, talking about distance on a map, Jaguar Falls doesn't have too much to it. One of the shorter maps, definitely closed quarters, and that's where they'll be taking their talents to in Game 3.
Yep. The draft a little bit weird for me from Burrito. Weird. The barrack and the Torvald in the... I don't know. Because it's like, we talk about how momentum-based barrack is. He needs to get set up. And Torvald's kind of... He's like not that super front-liney, you know, independent woman either. It's kind of like you look at Mako's, you look at Fernando's, you look at Ruckus to kind of fill that role.
Yeah. Well, that's Inara, man.
Torvald kind of
she's the independent woman.
She's going to make a splash for sure, I think.
I am excited to see her jump into the realm. We got the draft started already. Burrito decided to elect for Ying first pick. That seems the standard, and you know, both teams have had success. Yep. Actually, the first pick, Ying, has been the victor today. D69 now trying to switch it up. They go for the Grok in the barrack, so no changes there. Very stubborn. Will Burrito answer again with something similar like a Makoa, following off? You know, they have prioritized the Cassie a lot still. Will that stay the same?
Yeah, I definitely like the Makoa here. I thought that was, you know, he was the king up until the legendaries, and he didn't lose a whole lot.
No, he gained some stuff.
Yeah, he just kind of gained, pluck damage. He gained 10%, flat, and basically everything else stayed the same. So the fact that District 69 got both of those characters, and now Burrito has both of those characters, those are going to be both very high impact players. And Leminate, I think once the big game gets going here, Barrack is a much easier target, I think, to hit the big game with. Torvald as well. Characters that don't have low cooldown mobility, because if you look at someone like Ruckus, or if you look at Fernando or Shellspin from Makoa, when they get knocked up, they can just Shellspin or charge in a duration. And most of the time, that mobility skill is going to be up. Barrack having a longer mobility, and Torvald having no mobility. Yeah. It's going to be a lot easier for Leminate to confirm that percentage health-based damage. And it's going to be just hard to just run away from him. And you know what? It's going to be hard to run away from Torvald and Barrack, though, because on Jaguar Falls, it's very close quarters. This is a great draft from Burrito, though. Bringing in the Bomb King and bringing in the Ruckus, which is so key here on Jaguar Falls specifically, because there's not as many places to impact the point fight and not get stunned. You really have to remove yourself from that fight a lot of the times. And, of course, Ruckus can just keep those lines of sight firing. Maldamba gets picked up last here. I don't know, man. Burrito have a very strong draft going into this. I like it on Jaguar Falls. Laizy probably going to be playing the Bomb King. This, I believe, is identical to the draft that they won with in Game 1. So we know they're comfortable. They have what it takes to win on this. A lot of it rides on this guy right here, Laizy on the Bomb King. A newer character, I would say, that has come into his pool. But one that I have confidence that he can play to the highest of his ability. Accelerant, the mobility choice for him. Bonkar yet to select a legendary. Big game for Leminate. Flux Generator, so supplementing the repulsor field for Ruckus. Pluck for Birds, Makoa, and finally Lifelike for SunCommander Ying. Tanky. Maelstrom Grok there to handle the Ying illusions. See if they can bounce that shock pulse off. Field study for Torvald. Extra damage on the shields. Direct shots. Fusillade for Bugzy. Ripen Gourd, the slow on the Gourd. Very impactful on a smaller map like Jaguar Falls. And Fortify. Barrack getting that extra 4,000 health just to be able to make that fight last a little bit longer for his team. Give them the edge in the battle and make sure he has time to recover before eLvenpath throws his protection up to any team mate that is in need of it. Triple cauterize for District 69. Immediately poppy bombing. And it looks like it's about equivalent to the Master 1. First blood, though, up on the Shipa, and that's what happens with Barrack. He gets shut down very quickly. Well, and that's what happens with Makoa. You saw eLvenpath get the hooks, and now it's Bird finding those hooks as well. Bonkar getting the kills, and Laizy just setting it all up. The Grumpy Bomb is available, but hasn't even needed to use it. They're just clumped up in the corners. And again, we talk about this close space of Jaguar Falls. This lineup from Burrito is just taking prime advantage of it and controlling this real estate like no other. And not accepting renters at any point in time. Boom! Unfortunate there. Laizy playing a beautiful Bomb King. Was hitting 2 targets with all of those bombs in that last engagement. Gerrah and eLvenpath were both taking 900 damage per shot from the King. 1,800 damage a swing for the Pumpkin. And that was just beautiful capitalization on. Those 2 guys got caught in a corner and they got punished for it. Overtime still. Laizy's still back here going forward, making sure that no one can contest this. The objective has been captured. Although overtime ticked away for a moment, it was just relatively, I think, minimal in terms of the actual pressure they were applying. Laizy now finding himself a little bit under the gun here. Barrack up on top, seeing if he can stall him. And this is a decent fight. Barrack, if he gets the shield up, can do wonders, but Laizy takes down Shipa before that could happen. And now they just say, get out of my house. My God, you are being terrible to deal with. They get Laizy out in the kill streak, get some extra credits for it in the process. So tanky, and when he's hitting all the shots, that's the momentum, that's the swing of it that he's going to get into. Laizy just going to be very terrifying on this character. Dragon Punch is charged up, protection for Bugzy, so those rockets are going to hit 40% harder during that bubble. Here comes the swing through and the wind up. Laizy coming through like a wrecking ball. Finds an early pickup onto Shipa. Bugzy actually gets taken down. Bonkar credited with both kills so far in this engagement, continuing the pressure. Bonkar with 3 kills, rounding the final corner, breaking the base of District 69, looking for conversion. And it's coming soon. Maldamba there gets taken down. Bonkar with the rampage. And Shipa trying to hold on. The barricade, 4,000 extra health. Doesn't seem to be saving his life or making it any easier. An advance will mean that Ruckus can stay on that 10 streak, get rid of the Hyper Beam Torvald pressure, and find Bugzy in the air. Ruckus still alive, 193 health, but he keeps on firing, and there's the Hex of Fire. Trying to find one, can't find any, and there Torvald will get melted. The Shipa on Barrack will get stunned, and that's another kill
a consolation prize for an already steamrolling Burrito.
Mean, clean team fight there from Burrito. You saw the Hyper Beam come out on a bunker, but Bird had snuck his way around in the back line to just hook eLvenpath out of the Hyper Beam outright. He is not CC Moon. Torvald can be CC'd during his ultimate. We saw Bird with the flawless positioning there to capitalize on that fact, cutting off the rest of that Hyper Beam, and it was all curtains from there.
Bonkar here, 14 streak. What can you say? He's got Rejuvenate in the pocket, a little bit of extra healing received by his healer Ying. And Totterize too, meaning that Gerrah and PERDO, despite PERDO taking the Maelstrom Legendary to be more of an offensive grok, that healing that they're still counting on in mini clutch situations is not going to be there unless they can deal with this Ruckus and get him off the point. Flux Generator also going to make him super tanky when he's on the objective, but elects for the 30% damage mitigation now. But here's the Dragon Punch. Nothing will get mitigated from that. Laizy goes down, and again, last point fight, that was the big key. Now the fire spits are raining in, now the direct shots are there. Bugzy finds 2 in the engagement off a great Dragon Punch and a fantastic Dread Serpent to follow up from Moldamba, shooting down the clones from Ying and making sure that D69 are back in this game.
They just cut the head off the snake. Laizy was the problem in the previous round. His team fighting was just flawless on the King, hitting so many of his shots that they say he's worth it. And he does have 2,700 health, so it's not like it's a low-value target in any sense of the word. 89% for District 69. The retake here could be a potentiality from Burrito.
I want to see the Maelstrom here from Grok. It's a great time to use it. Got to keep your teammates alive. Bugzy gets 2, though, so it may not be necessary. D69 feel firmly in control of this, and now the silence and the protection from Torvald are that much more difficult to deal with. SunCommander in the background, but he is going to fall if he goes anywhere near this objective. In fact, they seem to be hunting him down. 2-1 goes the score for D69. They've gotten themselves a point, Nick, but can they push this through and tie things up with Burrito? Otherwise, they'll be facing a 3-1 deficit going into next round.
That's just the reward that Burrito have earned themselves for that 2-0 conversion. Salvo is primed, thrust over the top of the wall here, looking for some damage, not going to find anything. Dragon Punch still ready to go, poking shots, just trying to put his feelers out right now. Bugzy just looking for anyone. Here comes a King Bomb over the top. He's rolling it through the back. He doesn't want to go after
he gets
Bugzy.
nobody!
Whiff, though, from the King Bomb.
Barely even gets the healing totem. Laizy with a misplay there on the King Bomb. So difficult to pull off perfectly, and sometimes it's a guessing game, and that time the guess is all in favor. The chips fall as they may, but they may fall for Burrito, for D69 here, in fact. Burrito just getting the worst end of that trade, and Laizy goes down yet again. Talk about cutting the head off the snake. He is not there to provide the damage that has been so valuable. Torvald here, eLvenpath in the background. The Hyper Beam is available, Nick. This could be a clutch moment, and they want this push big time.
Shipa came out on top of the 1v1 with Laizy as well. Dragon Punch comes out. eLvenpath takes out Bird. Bugzy finds Bonkar in the backline.
Wow.
Absolutely no answer from Burrito. They get steamrolled in that push with over a minute left. District 69 find the conversion and tie things up.
They keep the ult, Nick. They keep the Maelstrom. Admittedly not as impactful, but very impactful to keep your momentum up. eLvenpath keeps the Hyper Beam, which is huge for these overtime situations. Gerrah keeps the Dread Serpent. Didn't even have to use that. Bugzy used the Dragon Punch, but he could charge it up so fast.
13% already on that. The cauterized 3s are here and ready to rumble. PERDO and eLvenpath with those. The Hyper Beam ultimate has been very impactful on Jaguar Falls Point in particular. No cauterized 3s online for Burrito Esports here. Leminate getting the Chronos 2 online, dumping a lot of credits into that, just trying to get the disengage up as much as possible, leveraging that big game whenever he can here. But the ultimate's in favor of D69, and the momentum is certainly on their side.
But no shield pressure, no cauterized pressure there. That is an interesting decision. If Bonkar does go down, Leminate's not going to be able to provide that typical reason that Cassie is there to deal with these shields and deal with that great AoE, no fall-off damage that she provides here. Gerrah, though, here's the Hyper Beam from eLvenpath. Gerrah there to follow up. Bird goes down as a result. PERDO gets one more, and this is all in favor of D69. In fact, they've gotten 39% so far, and with this zone coming forward, this could mean that Burrito can't even touch the payload before there's a chance for them to take this objective.
Beautiful long-range fire spit zone coming out, dismounting all members of Burrito. In fact, poking some of them below 50% health. District 69, 87%, and climbing here. It's going to be very close.
I don't know, man. I don't think they're going to get back. They know they couldn't. because they took such a great positioning there. One of the big value points I want to bring up in this cast and in the conversation is that when you fight preferably on the objective and are able to maneuver your way around it and get the 20, 30, maybe 40% as D69 did there before you get your snowball and your victory and a couple of kills, it means you don't have to have another chance for the enemy team to try and contest you. You can win it right there in one fight.
Zone is so strong. bugzy actually eating some serious damage from this Bomb King. Will go down to SunCommander from downtown here. Shipa actually pushing the issue here on the high ground, finding 2 kills. PERDO pairing alongside him, finding SunCommander, and PERDO finding another one here. District 69 are rolling right now, already halfway done with this payload push. Minute 40 seconds remaining.
This is dangerous. This is dangerous. 80% for Torvald's Hyper Beam. That's the last thing they want. 5 ultimates on the side of D69 and only a King Bomb. And now about to be Ying's ultimate available for Burrito. They've got to get somebody down here. bugzy starts things off and takes down Leminate, who invested all those credits into Kronos. There's the Dread Serpent and bonkar. Might get finished. He will. Shipa will do the deed. The Hyper Beam could come out, but not while Makoa's CC immune. And so he's going to wait for that to fall off. Here's the Dome Shield. Where's the Hyper Beam? Haven't seen it yet. There it is to put the icing on the cake. And that will mean eLvenpath slays Laizy in a D69 victory to move on and win set one, excuse me, against Burrito here in the Masters qualifiers.
There it is. They take him down. Leminate rolled a little bit too far away from the payload there. At the end, I don't know that he would have been able to save that game, though, regardless. Yeah. D69 were looking strong on that payload push.
It was a tough kind of call, you know. They went with a tanking lineup. They went some interesting item choices. You know, you typically see your Cassie building those records and those cauterizes. Went with the Kronos to really maximize the big game. But then that's out of the fight. If that's one of your ways you think of dealing with the tanks, and she just goes down, their team fight starts to fall apart.
Big game it's high risk, high reward. Still able to get 60k damage done though. Leminate
very effective.
Not off the board by any means, but again, you look at his eliminations compared to like Laizy's eliminations or even bonkar's eliminations. A lot of this damage from Laizy or from Cassie's is just poke. Right. It's just poke that gets healed back up immediately, and it doesn't really have an outstanding impact on the fight. Gerrah, 42,000 healing on the Maldamba, was not necessarily, she didn't beat the Ying, but able to set that precedent. I think that Ying can be defeated. It's not the be-all, end-all. Beating Ying and Makoa, no less.
Yeah, and eLvenpath as well. You know, I think him, PERDO, Shipa, bugzy, gerrah. I mean, shout-outs to all of the members of D69. But I really am liking the adoption that EU is taken for Torvald. They're really saying Torvald has a huge value here. We're not going to solo tank him. I think that would be silly. He's more of an off-tank. But his role is to keep those teammates alive. You see those Grandmaster, those great Torvald players really timing their protection bubbles to where it's game-changing. It's fight-changing. And those hyper beams to really just be the cherry on top of a disastrous situation, and that's what it was for Burrito there. Just lost too much momentum too early, and then they were susceptible to these win more characters that D69 had.
And of course, 22-4 on the Drogos for bugzy, top damage in the game. Just continuing to do what he does.
Yeah. Great dragon punches from him. Didn't get fooled by the Ying clones
very often.
I
like
the
one onto Laizy. He picked Laizy with a dragon punch, and you saw that happened, and normally we see those onto the tanks, and it kind of swings the team fight, but the second Laizy went down, Burrito just backed up. Yeah. They were like, because he carried a large part of that team fight. He put most of the damage in on the first team fight where they won, but him going down in relatively the same spot where he won that first team fight from in the second round was just, it was the full retreat call from Burrito after that.
All right, well, let's take a look at the standings here for Europe as the Masters qualifiers have just started. Set number 1's been taken down here. So D69 played 1 match. They've got 2 wins in these games, 1 loss. Burrito Esports, they've got 1 win, 2 losses here. Overall, D69 take the better of the set. We'll have to wait how these other teams fare against each other. Of course, this will not be the only time they play against each other. D69 and Burrito will play 1 more time at some point in these next 3 weeks. And you see here Interlopers versus Wolves Esports, the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th seed going to play against each other in match 2. That's going to be an exciting one because Wolves showed a lot of gusto coming in from last weekend, and Interlopers have been kind of this great potential team, not always performing at that highest level, but insane potential.
Interlopers definitely a good one to kick their Masters qualifiers start off to against Wolves. Wolves, like you mentioned, have just been kind of on fire recently. Almost out of nowhere, they roared back and qualified themselves into the top 4 with their, I believe it was 2nd place finish in the final week of the open bracket. So made it all happen there right at the end of the line. Got their first wins of the days.
And if you get onto Paladins, you can get your own first win of the day and make sure that you get some extra Radiant chest there. That's right, a Radiant chest will be rewarded for every single first win of the day, going from 3-3 to 3-5. That's March 3rd to March 5th. It should be this weekend, unless I'm like, I don't know, time traveling or something.
That is this weekend.
Also, if you are here, Nick, we've got other stuff happening as well.
And Nara just went live on the PTS last night. Get in there, start playing her, get your first wins of the days there. Just get a feel for the character before she comes out. That way, when she comes out live, you can take her into ranked and start stomping kids with it.
Exactly, start stomping. That's right. That's what we want to see. The female frontliner. She is a treat
also,
to play.
The Warders field.
Yes.
The noise that makes.
It's great.
It's literally just like a subwoofer. Just. It's awesome.
Says the guy with the biggest subwoofers in the Hi-Rez parking lot, so I can see why he's already playing Nara so much.
Nara's a base head.
We'll be right back. We've got a short break that we'll be taking, and of course it'll be a little shorter than usual because we know you've been waiting previously for us to get going and on track here. We'll come back with the second match of the day, Wolves versus Interlopers. Don't go anywhere.